What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, me showcasing how to make competitive Pokemon in Legend ZA. This is going to go over how to EV train, how to plus your moves, natures, IVs, and more. Of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate and support my work by becoming the channel member. And let's dive in. Now, we're going to remake my Fraligator. This is my starter Pokemon, and I want to make it into a competitive beast on the ladder. I want to hit rank A. So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we're going to want to do is natures. You can change natures pretty easily in the game, and you can actually do it at the very beginning of the game. And you can get nature mints over here right next to Wild Zone 3. Now, it's like down this alleyway. It's weird that you just can't fast travel here, but essentially all the NPCs who talk about flowers are gonna give you mint. So we want an adamant mint. I want to make my Fraligator adamant, which is plus attack minus special attack. Each mint is 20,000. You can get defensive mints on this person. You can get the special attacking, like a modest mint, from this person, and then you can get special defense mints from this person. Now, where are the speed mints? For some reason, they didn't put the speed mints right next to them. I don't know why. We have to go to a whole different location for the speed ones, but we are over at the Cafe Galant, and from Cafe Galant we are going to go to this flower person right here who doesn't even have a text bubble, but they sell the Jolly, the Timid mints, which are the good ones for speed. So that is weird, but that's where all the mints are located. And to use a mint is going to be super simple. You're just going to get your satchel, you're going to go to your other items, and you're just going to scroll through. We got tons and tons of items, but there's going to be a bunch of mints. And of course, you can find mints throughout the game. You can get some from side quests, but if you just want to buy them and be able to use them, we're going to change our Fraligator now to adamant. And now looking at its stats here, he is going to be adamant. The red arrow up means the attack is getting boosted by 10%. The blue arrow down means special attack is getting decreased by 10%. So it's always optimal to go for either an attacking stat. If it's a physical attacker, special attacker would want the special attack up. If you care about your cooldown reduction, you would probably want speed up. And if you want to build a bulky Pokemon, either defense or special defense. Now for EVs. So what are EVs? There are effort values that Pokemon naturally get by earning experience and battling other Pokemon. Now, if you're just using the Pokemon and using the story, your effort values are going to be messed up. So if you use the right stick, on the summary page of your Pokemon, you can see what your effort values are, and mine are all over the place. I got attack investment, speed investment, special attack investment, some defense, some special defense, and the game doesn't tell you the exact number of how many effort values were used because you have a limit you can use. You can max a stat out by using 252 points, and you have a total of 508 points to use. So you can have a max attack and a max HP stat, and that is going to give you 504 points. Now, you will still have 4 points left over. You can put those points in a random stat. So as an example for Fraligator, I would max my attack, maybe my HP, and then put 4 points in speed, and then he can't learn any more effort values, and that's going to be what I would think is an optimal Mega Fraligator build. Now, how do you tell what your current EVs are? Well, you can't really tell in the game, but if you go on Pokemon Showdown right here, you can type in your Pokemon level, and you can just type in all the numbers, and you can pretty much figure out what your EVs are. So my EVs right now have like 24 in HP, 136 in attack, 72 in defense, 40 in special attack, and 132 in speed with 104 remaining. So didn't even use all my EVs yet in this story run with my Fraligator, but I want to make them more optimal. So how do we do that? Now, to remove EVs from the Pokemon, there are currently 2 ways. And the first way is going to be going to your berry pouch and then seeing if you have picked up any of the reducing EV berries. So the Kelpsy berry will make your Pokemon lose 10 attack EVs. It'll also make them more friendlier. So you can just feed, if you, let's say my Fraligator had max attack and I didn't want him to have max attack, I can give him 26 of these berries and it completely would wipe out that attack stat. Of course, he only has 136, so I would give him 14, and 14 of those would remove 140 points. That would be enough to remove all the attack investment on the Fraligator as an example. Now, you can buy these berries literally right where the mint person is. If you just go down 2 stalls to the right here, we can talk to this person and we can get all of the berries to remove. So like a Pomeg berry is HP, Kelsey's attack, Qualos defense, special attacks Hondu, Repa special defense, and a Tomato berry is speed. So that is one way. It does cost some money to do it. However, there is another way when you're further in the story, and you can do this by going to the Rust Syndicate office. So once you finish the Rust Syndicate boss fight and finish that storyline in the game, you can go into the Rust Syndicate building and you can talk to the lady at the front desk. And need a fresh start? Yeah, I do want a fresh start. It's going to cost 5 Mega Shards, though. What Pokemon do I want to remove the stats from? It's going to be for my Fraligator. So we're going to select that. Lose all my base stats. Yep. So he's going to essentially get reborn here. It's pretty funny, the dialogue in the text. But 5 Mega Shards is nothing. You get like 5 Mega Shards for destroying like 2 clusters of crystals. So literally nothing at all. So now my stats are lower, as you can see. You know, my stats all went down by a little bit, especially that speed stat. We were at 137 before, now we're at 115. So you can definitely see we are fresh and ready to start EV trading. Now, there are 2 different ways to max out the EVs on your Pokemon, and the easiest but more expensive way is to use vitamins. Now, vitamins can be found under your other items. You probably picked up a couple throughout the game. You get some of them from side quests as well, and they're really good. Each one of these vitamins, HP ups, proteins, irons, calcium, zinc, and carbos, increases the EVs on your Pokemon by 10. So if I gave a protein to Fraligator, Fraligator will now gain 10 EVs. And if you gave your Fraligator 26, then that's going to completely max out the stat. So 26 will completely max it. If you want to be a little bit more optimal, because each EV maxes at really 252 to get the actual benefit, you would give 25 to them, and then you would find 2 more EV points so you don't waste any extra EVs. If you want to cap off those little extra EVs, let's say I gave 25 proteins to the Fraligator, I want to get those 2 extra points, I could give it a muscle feather. So feathers also give EVs, but each one of these feathers give 1 EVs. So 10 muscle feathers would equal 1 protein in the terms of the conversion there. And you can just find these by running through the game as well. I don't think you can actually buy feathers, but they're really nice for topping off stats, and I just like to use them like that. Now, you can also buy vitamins. When you're far enough in the story, you can buy vitamins from Nurse Joy here. Just do some shopping. I like to buy, and then just scroll down, and you can buy all of the vitamins here. Vitamins cost $5,000, which actually isn't that bad. And some games are like 10,000, so it's not horrible. But if you have a lot of money, you've been doing the post-game ZA Royale, you can get a lot of money items. Also, don't forget that you can sell valuables to her, and you're probably sitting on a good amount of valuables if you haven't been selling, so you can make a lot of easy money like that too. Now, the other way to EV train is to use power items. And power items are held items you give your Pokemon, and it will further increase the EVs you receive when you knock out a Pokemon. Now, you can buy these at the post-game Quasicor shop. You can also earn these by doing side quests. You can see on the screen here exactly what each one does and how you can obtain them. It's really not hard to do the side quests. I only got 4 of them. I'm not far enough to get them all yet, but this is all I really need for this video at the moment. Now, I want to raise the attack stat of my Fraligator first, so I'm going to be giving it the Power Bracer as a held item. Give it to him. And what these power items do is when you knock out a Pokemon, you will be getting an additional 8 EVs for whatever the power item is. So Power Bracer is going to give me 8 attack EVs per every Pokemon I knock out. So optimally, you would knock out a Pokemon that also gives me attack EVs, so I can get even more attack EVs for KO. Now, 8 is a lot. I mean, considering a vitamin gives you 10, that's nearly a whole vitamin. And when you knock out, let's say, a Pokemon that gives you 2 attack EVs, essentially 1 knockout is giving you the same amount as 1 protein. So that is massive. It is super cost efficient, and it's really not hard to knock out Pokemon in this game. It's pretty quick. There's not a lot of loading for that. So it's a really good method, and it saves you a lot of money. Now, for which Pokemon should you hunt for the different EVs? Let's start with HP. And I do want to mention, whenever you knock out a Pokemon, it will need time to regenerate. It can take about 3 to 5 minutes for Pokemon spawns to regenerate after you take them out. So keep that in mind while you're doing this. So for HP, Wild Zone 19 is going to be amazing. So the Kangaskhan and the Clefairy and the Aldino, they all give 2 HP EVs when you have the corresponding power item for HP. You're gonna be getting 10 per knockout. Cleffa gives you 1, so it's a really good zone for this in general. And then while you're waiting for those to respawn, you can go over to area 11. The Stunkfist here, there's 4 of them you can KO. They will give you 2, and the Slowpokes will give you 1. There's an Alpha Slowbro here that's going to give you 2. So you can swap between these 2 locations to farm your HP EVs. Now, attack EVs are amazing to farm in this game, and I would actually always recommend farming them instead of using vitamins, because Wild Zone 13 gives you so many. So the Pokemon that gives you 2 attack EVs is going to be Weepinbell. You're going to get Pinsir, Heracross, and there is an Alpha Trevenant that can sometimes spawn. And Scyther and Phantom give 1 attack EV. So if you are trying to max your attack stat, just go crazy in this location. And there's a lot of Pokemon. Pretty much just do not attack the Pavilion. The Pavilion will not help you. You do not want the Pavilion. Everything else, though, is pretty much fair game. And you can see that we got 2 Pinsirs here. We got 3 Weepinbells, 2 Heracrosses here. So that was a really good spawn. That can really increase our attack stat here. So if we want to farm that, we can just start knocking those guys out and get some good stats there. Next up is Defense EVs, and this is a pretty good location in Wild Area 15. You can use Gourgeist, Whirlipede to give you a decent amount. Both of them are going to give you 2. And you can also use Punkaboo, who is going to be giving you 1. Now, another good spot is going to be Wild Area 14. In Wild Area 14, Larion is going to give you 2. Aeron's going to give you 1, and Onyx is going to give you 1. So both of these are going to be pretty valid spots for you to run around. Lots of good spawns for you to easily get those defense EVs. Special attacking EVs is another one that's pretty easy to farm. So Wild Zone 3, you can get 1 for Litleo. And Wild Area 6, you can get 1 per Houndour. The Alpha Houndoom will give you 2. The Flaffies will give you 2, which is really neat as well. If you go to Wild Area 1, you can get 1 from the Mareep. And if you go to Area 16, there's 2 Flaffies there, and then Ampharos, and the Alpha Ampharos is going to give you 3. So that's going to be really great. And then Area 17, there's a bunch of Pyroars, and each Pyroar is going to give you 2. So special attack is going to be really easy for you to farm. Next up is special defense, and this one is a little bit annoying to hunt because there's not a lot of Pokemon that give it in the game. Flabébé is going to be your most common spawn, and it's going to spawn in Wild Zone 3. Each one of those is going to give you 1. Now, if you find Floettes, which there is 1 that spawns in Wild Zone 7, you can get 2. However, the thing is, Flabébé and Floette actually spawn throughout the city in various gardens. So if you see any flowers, especially on the rooftops, you'll see a bunch. As an example, I'm currently here in Vert Sector 3, and you get a guaranteed 2 spawns on each side of the garden. So you get like 1 Floette, and we get 1 Flabébé. And on the other side, we'll also get a duplicate of that, 1 Flabébé, 1 Floette, which is pretty nice. So you can do this throughout the city. Just, you know, explore, go through the different rooftops. And I'm sure someone can find a really good spot for all of these different flowers. But it shouldn't be too hard to max your special defense with that method. Now, the last EV is going to be speed. And there's a lot of really easy spots to farm speed EVs. So in the first Wild Zone, Weedle, Pikachu, Fletchling, Pidgey, and the Bunny are all going to give you 1 speed EV, and that's pretty much most of the spawns in that zone. You can also go to the second Wild Zone and do Staryu, which spawns at night, and Magikarp, and you can farm those for speed. You can also go to the third Wild Zone and farm the Pikachus, which are going to give you 2 EVs, and the Espers, they're going to give you 1 EV. So there's a lot of good options, and a lot of these Pokemon are common spawns like Weedle and Fletchling and Pidgey you're going to find around the city, so you can just knock those out in the city. But my Feraligatr is now perfectly EV trained. You can see by looking at the EVs with the right stick, and you can see my stats are sparkling. So a sparkling stat means it's maxed out. It can't go any higher. So I put 252 EVs into the attack stat. Into the speed, I put 252 EVs there. I had 4 left over, and I put 1 point into HP. So we have a super strong, a super fast Feraligatr. Now that we have the hardest part done, the easiest part is actually getting the IVs maxed on it and getting plus moves. Now, because we are a Mega, you don't necessarily need to get your moves plus, but to get your plus moves done, you can unlock it in the story by going to the Justice Dojo. you can talk to her, and you give her a mastery seed. You earn mastery seeds by defeating alpha Pokemon, and essentially she can plus the moves of a certain Pokemon. So we can just select on the Fraligator. I don't have Swords Dance plus, so we can use a speed of mastery, and essentially it improves the move. For damaging moves, it makes it do more damage. For status moves, it makes them last longer. As an example, it takes 1 bar of your Mega Gauge to do it, and you can use this when you're not Mega Evolved. So there you go. Now, next to her is the person who does Hyper Training, which is IVs. IVs are stats that your Pokemon are created with. You can't change them outside of making them perfect by using items called Bottle Caps. Bottle Caps are really rare items that you're not going to be seeing them in the wild. You get a couple of them from Mabel's research, but pretty much they're a post-game item that you can be getting from the post-game Battle Royale, the Infinite one. So you can use Bottle Caps on your Pokemon, and it's going to max 1 IV slot. Now, if you have a Golden Bottle Cap, it'll max all your IVs. Now, not all Pokemon want that. Like, for example, Fraligator, we can use max IVs on everything besides Special Attack. We're never going to use Special Attack, so I sort of rather use 5 regular Bottle Caps instead of 1 golden one, because the golden ones are so much rarer. And like I said, these are essentially post-game items, and you can just talk to her. So yes, I want to do Hyper Training. You have to be at least level 50 to do Hyper Training. So I'm going to select my Fraligator. I'm going to use a regular Bottle Cap. And what stat? So my HP and attack and defense are already maxed out. So I'm going to do special defense and speed, and we are going to max these out. And then my Fraligator is now perfect and ready to go into competition on PvP and hopefully hit that rank A. Of course, you know, you want to have optimal moves of all that too, but I think in my philosophy on moves is have stab moves, like a water type move, a dragon type move because I become a dragon when I'm Mega Evolved. Status moves that either buff yourself or debuff the opponent are really good. Moves like Protect are amazing in general as well. And then maybe some coverage like Crunch here or Ice Fang would be good on Fraligator. But there you go. That is how you make a perfect Pokemon in Legends ZA. It's really not that hard at all. It's relatively simple and easy. And you can earn quite a bit of money from doing the post-game royales just so you can buy vitamins. Also, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.